Start out on this new road. No turning back. But we have our ancestors with us. We're gonna continue to dance with them. Oh. Dreaming them. Calling them. Seeing them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world. Planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set a fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's a fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs, they still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive and well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Fakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
Tlasa Kamatli
community. Las Aslan. Here we go. So the Los Angeles natives logo or the LA natives together does not represent any communities of the Tungva, Chumash, or any territories original to them. That's the disclaimer. How is my community of Las Aslan doing? I hope they're doing good. It's been challenging for us as a family, but we're going to use our heart medicine to deal with it.
Shout out to all the support that's just flooding in.
Absolutely. We feel your support, and thank you so much for your messages, and they've been very encouraging. And please don't take my silence as something as I'm ignoring or I'm not responding to comments of support or anything of that nature. I just want to make sure that I'm clear every time I'm talking. And I feel the clearest on the podcast. You know, we have to have clarity over this situation. And one, I have to be a good warrior. I can't rile up other people who are in a different opinion of something that's happening to us. I have to be wise about what I'm saying. I have to let the warriors express themselves, because by no means do I want to censor anybody's opinion or ability to voice their concerns or whatever it is that they feel in their heart. I have to be very gentle with that. I have to understand that that's an emotional person that has the right to say whatever he says, just like the individual who had a problem with our podcast has the right to say that. It's how we deal with it. How are we going to deal with it? And me, I want to hear the warriors out, but I also want to guide them. I want to guide those young future people that are going to sit in my seat one of these days, right? When it's time for them to recognize their wisdom and how to share and show love to the community. Not like a hippie.
We're not hippies.
We're not hippies, but when I say love, it's compassion, empathy, patience.
Universal.
We have struck a meeting with the individuals that are claiming something about us. And I'm not going to go into detail about the claiming of whatever, because we love everyone, even the ones that feel like they need to say something bad about us. Why would we shy away from those people? And they're not even those people. Why would we shy away from our family?
Well,
Armando, I'm sure your family has dinners or events. Does everybody get along there?
of course not.
Do some people show up and they hate each other?
And then you start questioning.
Right? But they're there. They're there. That's okay. You don't have to talk to me, Theo. You don't have to share a beer with me, Theo. It's cool.
For all of our new listeners and viewers, never judge a book by its cover. Check out our podcasts from number 1 to 40.
Yeah.
And moving forward.
Yeah.
We've never had any
complaints,
negative complaints up to this point. Up to the point where I decided to organize what I thought was going to be one of the most influential, important Indigenous hip hop concerts in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because audience, Las Taslan, this is a concert promoting company and a podcast. We are not a nonprofit organization that's going to ask permission of things and people. And if that offends you, and if you thought that that's what this was, then you need to go search other individuals who are doing the community organizing with community local artists. But we're asking artists to come from Oklahoma. We're asking artists to come from different areas of this either state or country. This is a gathering of hearts.
Indigenous hip hop.
Indigenous hip hop. An indigenous gathering.
Right.
This is what this is. And it's a professional promotional company.
I'm going to go ahead and speak my truth on this matter. You know, I've been able to understand that I have a huge responsibility when it comes to representing the unheard.
Yeah.
And the underground hip hop community. It's not a coincidence that we're from Los Angeles. It's not a coincidence that this podcast is shot in downtown Los Angeles. To add to that, it's not a coincidence that we do business in Los Angeles. I was born in Los Angeles. And the whole intent of this podcast was to promote Indigenous hip hop on a global scale.
Yes.
Why is that so? It's not a conspiracy, guys. There's a logo behind this wall, right? Well, behind Zero, right? It says the LA Natives, and then it says Underground Hip Hop Blog, guys.
Yeah.
UndergroundHipHopBlog.com represents the unheard. That's it.
You guys
There's no
hearing
skin
that?
in the game. Everyone knows my stance. There's a great dynamic in this podcast, right, Zero?
Yeah.
We have Zero of El Vuh, who I personally am one of his biggest fans. When it comes to Indigenous hip hop, I've never heard better music. That's just my opinion. Right, Zero?
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that comes with the responsibility too. And I know that what I'm saying has a lot of representation of a lot of people, and know that I just humbly connect with whatever my source is and whatever my situation is. And I put that into poetry, and that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Community, Las Taslan, we are a concert. Remember, Armando, someone said, who's going to bring in the dancers, right? Who's going to open up the ceremony for us, right? Did someone ask you to do that?
Yeah. So
And what did I say?
I said, you know, it's a different environment.
Yeah, we said no.
Yep.
We said no. No,
Remember,
we don't.
this is an indigenous hip hop podcast. We're not creating ceremonies here. We're not doing any kind of ceremonial work. We do have a background of the way of our life. This is the way we live. We do live a very ceremonial life, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are creating that with this hip hop podcast, you know?
Right.
Again, this hip hop podcast is to bring a voice for all indigenous hip hop artists, female, male, whatever that may be, young, old, whatever. This is your podcast to hear your voice.
Absolutely. Remember Brother Jay? You underground hip hop. You know Brother Jay, right?
Yeah.
Brother Jay used to bring out an ankh, right? He used to bring out an ankh, an Egyptian something, an Egyptian cloth, something that represented Egypt and the ancient philosophies of Egypt. Well, this hawk feather is the same thing. My medicine bundle is the same thing. This turtle shell that holds my ancient necklaces are the same thing. These broken clay potteries
that we've had for 20 years.
I'm just showing you who I am. It doesn't mean I have power. It doesn't mean I have voice. I'm not a chief. No. This is just what I represent. All these things I prayed for and I prayed with, going to ceremonies, going to sun dances, going to sweat lodges. I took these things with me. All my whole career of El Vuh, I never brought them out until now.
Right. And guys, if you guys listen to the El Vuh catalog, this group incorporates everything that Zero just said into their music. That's why I believe it's such great music.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I humbly appreciate it. And
like I wanna clear it up for all these new viewers. This podcast is derived from Underground Hip Hop Blog.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I approached Zero and said, "Look, I want to help out the indigenous hip hop community.
Right.
You're one of the most influential hip hop artists that I know of.
Right.
In that scene. Mm-hmm. How about we get together and create a podcast, right?
Yeah.
There's no conspiracy. People know that since day one.
Yep.
Me as a hardworking hip hop promoter in Los Angeles, it's so vital to understand when you're censoring music that has meaning, you're only crippling the advancement of music that should matter. I'm just speaking facts, guys. There's no conspiracy here. People are trying to say, that we have bad intentions about what we're doing.
Yeah, using the kind of language that they used against the podcast, and I don't even want to repeat it because it's not worth it, and it's okay. You can have that opinion. This is ours,
and I respect that opinion. This is the reason why this podcast exists, because all opinions matter here.
Yes, absolutely. That 100%. If you're in
my role in this game is to advance the progression of conscious, indigenous, free thought music.
Yeah, progressive. Yeah.
And if I've never heard of you before, I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say.
But that's what
because I'm a hip hop promoter.
You're a talent buyer. You have to go and scout. You have to go see. You got to go to the first thing I hear from you when anybody approaches. Remember when I brought the video guy to you? You're like, okay, send me a link. I want to see a link. Send me an email. Give me a breakdown of your work in an email, and then we'll move forward.
The last thing I want is for venues to start spreading the word and telling every venue and say, look, indigenous hip hop is bad news. Never book that group again. Don't book that genre. That's counterproductive, guys.
And not allowing people to really express their passions. And again, that's what this podcast is all about, is allowing people to spread their message through music, through hip hop.
So that being said, I want to thank all the support that's coming in.
Absolutely.
All the new ticket buyers that are going out to our event. I personally went ahead and changed the flyer, changed the title to the event humbly.
And we defined our name.
We're defining everything to all of our new viewers.
Yes.
All of our existing viewers, all of our fans, they know what time it is. They know exactly what we're about, right, Zero?
Absolutely, because we never changed from day one, and we've always represented all communities of all Turtle Island, and that includes the Chumash, and that includes the Tungvas. We just didn't follow a certain protocol that has been in place for a very long time that I seem to have forgotten, and I guess I have to apologize for that. But again, I got to make myself clear. This is a concert. This is a podcast. And this is medicine that I just pray with, and it represents what I talk about. That's it. This is when I go into local and grab local artists and I ask local representatives of the communities to come in, the Tongue Bazaar, Mama. First, I know some of them. I know the top councils. Jenny and I ran with them from the Peace and Dignity Run. They've welcomed us to their communities. That's why I took some time to reply to everything and have an answer, because I'm not getting into a social media war because individuals read texts wrong. And as a matter of fact, somebody sent in a text. I go, hey man, brother, I put you out. Let's go. I'm right here on the podcast. You send your link and I'll talk to you. And he's all, no, brother, you're misunderstanding me. I just kind of agreed with, see how it goes? Like, right. I didn't want to leave it to people that are on different levels, different consciousness. Who knows if someone's going through a breakup, someone lost a mom, who knows? And they want to let out this energy and they want to let it out on the most positive thing that's happening to them. The most positive thing that happened to indigenous hip hop since early 2000.
I want to say this. You know, we have a great team over here at Underground Hip Hop Blog.
Lots of support.
We promote some of the best independent hip hop, and 10-15% of our catalog is dedicated to, you know, what we consider indigenous native hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. But is this how the indigenous hip hop is going to treat one another?
Look, are
these the actions that are going to take place when organizations like ourselves want to back it up, and then it just turns into like a free-for-all?
I want to say no, that it's not going to happen.
Can I ask you, Zero, does XXL promote it?
No.
Does Hip Hop DX?
No.
Complex US?
No.
World Star Hip Hop?
No.
Power 106?
No.
92.3 The Beat?
No. No one's going to put Sub on. No one's going to put Sub 1 on.
No one's going to put
Cosmic Force. No one's going to put Cosmic Force on like that.
Product Pistolas.
No one's going to treat Cosmic Force like they treat Ice Cube. No one's going to treat Sub 1 like Pharaoh Monch.
Yeah, and we have a very special guest today. We have Product Pistolas in the building. He's actually performing live with Zero June 25th. It's going to be such an amazing event. This show is for people to let people be heard.
Right.
You know?
In whatever level of consciousness that
I'm
you
sorry,
are.
guys, that I'm one of the biggest El Vuh fans you could think of. I love El Vuh. I love Vic. I love E-Rise. I love Zero. They're all my brothers. Is it my fault that I felt like, you know, El Vuh was quite possibly one of the dopest indigenous rap groups out there, Zero?
I mean, thank you. I like the compliment, and I understand the responsibility. I understand the responsibility. That's why I want to be a good warrior. I want to calm the troops down. We're all on the same side, even if we disagree. Mm-hmm. We're all on the same side. Custer's last stand was one of the greatest victories that indigenous people have documented and have referenced throughout these hundreds of years that it's happened. What made it a victory? Every indigenous person put everything aside. Everything. Everything had to be put aside. How they pray, how they did certain things, what they called themselves. These territories are mine. They had to put it all aside and become one force. And that force won. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay? So it's okay if you disagree. Disagree over there. Because right here, we're one. Mm-hmm. Turtle Island. We're one. And if you're not one, then step aside. Step outside of the circle.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way. I get emotional about that because I don't want to disrupt a good thing, man. I want to be able to give Product Pistolas the guidance that he needs to develop his indigeneity. And then one day he sits and he represents his own community. And when I say he represents his own community, I'm talking about his little boy and his little girl and his wife, and they sit at the table and they address each other in a proper manner. Please let me do that without judging everything I say. Mm-hmm. Here's another point. Natani Means got drugged into this, right? Hey, Natani, now we're Afrocentric. No, that's not what I said. No, the LA natives represent every single thing colonial. Anything brought here on a document or a paper, we diss. We don't recognize that. So I said, the white people aren't the only smart people that crossed the ocean. the Moors. Maybe we did. And then some person, again, Babylon, starts talking and starts saying, well, they would have left the mark. Well, if I go to your house for dinner, do I have to leave a mark at your house? Do I have to go, I'm going to put my chair here so I could prove I was here?
All I got to say is shout out to Immortal Technique.
Shout out to
that
Immortal
meme.
Technique.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, guys. Let's not drag other artists in. Matani, my apologies. My apologies that, the Alanitas community brought in this negative energy. But your representative came today and made it very clear that we're in solidarity. And we're not in a solidarity. No, we're not in solidarity. We're one community. We're one family. Solidarity is what you use when you're fighting each other. And I'm not at war with anyone. The only person I'm at war with is white supremacy and the thought of white supremacy and the division that white supremacy brings on any document, city council, United States, whatever the fuck you want to call it, excuse my language, I do not represent and I spit on. I spit on all your treaties. You didn't keep one. I spit on it. Because at the end of the Constitution, except for the savage heathen, who the hell do you think they were talking about? Who's the savage heathen? That's us. Las Taslan. We're the savage heathen. We're the ones. So we renounce your documents, your churches, your religion, everything.
So moving forward, nothing but positivity.
Absolutely.
June 25th, we got a very special guest in the building. He's going to be performing live with all of us, right? Not with Zero.
No.
Not with Olmeca. With all of us, the whole community.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and sit down, guys. Prodac. Let's get those earphones on.
Hey, what's up, you guys? How you guys
So,
doing?
Prodac, how do you feel about this whole situation?
Mira, estoy triste. Estoy triste porque ha sido muy difícil ser un artista, ser un artista en una genre donde hay un montón de competencia, ¿entiendes? Y cuando llega una plataforma a darte una voz, es algo inmenso, ¿entienden? Es algo de otro nivel. Aquí, viviendo en Los Ángeles, no conozco otra área, yo no conozco otro lugar. So esto es muy importante, esto afecta mi carrera, mi futuro, mis hijos, todo. No tengo hijos, pero no voy a existir si se acaba esto,
Well, thanks for coming on, Prodac, and thanks for speaking your original language, your first language.
Gracias a ustedes por tenerme aquí.
I have to be, like I said, brother, I have to be unbiased and I have to be very neutral when it comes to things, dude. But I want to tell you though, as someone that if you listen to my podcast, if you listen to the words that I say, I would never tell you how to feel or what to say, but just know that whenever you address anything in any way, use your corazón. Because that's what I'm using to address this situation.
No,
brother.
por supuesto, es el corazón los que nos tiene aquí en este lugar,
Yeah.
El corazón, si no fuera por corazón, que estuviéramos ya muertos o en la cárcel o haciendo otras cosas, pero el corazón nos ha traído a estos límites, de existencia, de vivir.
Absolutely.
Can you share a little bit about cómo empezaste tu pasión en hacer música? It's like it's always, pero personas de colores tenemos una historia y tenemos diferentes journeys que podemos escoger, we can go this road or we can go that road, So es una bendición sabiendo que puedes cambiar tu forma de ser, and express yourself through el arte de música. So what made you get into it?
Es una revolución, Es una revolución, porque tenemos una voz y llegamos a platicar y hablar de las cosas que afectan a la comunidad, donde crecemos de niños, crecemos viendo nuestros padres sacrificándose, casi muriéndose aquí en esta tierra, el sudor por el dólar, ¿entiendes? Por ganar un peso para el galón de la leche, el agua. Todo ha sido un sacrificio que nunca hemos tenido, chance de expresarnos en la música. No hay nadie que nos representa, así como gente indígena aquí a esta tierra, Entonces, el hip hop diario es una revolución, ha sido una revolución desde el comienzo, una cosa que no nos aceptaban, fue algo, no nos van a querer, el hip hop, no, nadie quiso el hip hop en una era, mi mamá me decía, apaga esa cosa acá que estás oyendo, el ruido, la música, los drums, es algo muy que te lleva a tu tu concentración, tu gente, los drums, la gente como Ancestral usaba los drums para hacer sus sonidos, yo no sé nada de eso, nomás tengo una idea,
That is so beautiful, right, Zero?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's beautiful when you know where you come from specifically and when you're not displaced. And that's why I took a stance against anything white supremacy or anything that has to do with documentation from them, because when it displaces someone, it completely erases someone, and then it leaves you, as I posted on my IG recently. If you don't know who you are, you're not gonna know where you're going. Someone can tell you, go here, go there, right? Like Product just described. You know what I mean? Right? I gotta go over there to make money. I gotta go over there to make money, right? No identity, right? If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want. You go, oh, I want that Beamer. Oh, I want that big house, right? You know what I want? I want to be in balance with my family. I want to be able to look into the eyes of my grandchildren. I want to be able to guide them and tell them that they've always had a home. And they've had elders that have been documenting time for 26,000 years.
Hell yeah, for sure. 100%. As long as it's been people, we've existed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, as long as there's been time before time was being recorded, we've existed.
So look, guys, like as a hip hop fan, I'm so looking forward to seeing Zero perform. You have a great set. I can't only imagine what Product's gonna put on stage, right?
Let's get some comments out here. Alan, Native Mexica.
Shout out to all the
what
chat.
What you do with the thing? Go to put it back.
Which one?
Ooh, I forgot where it went.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat
I know there
going
is.
on,
Thank
guys.
you everybody on the live chat room.
And obviously this podcast is turning in a different direction, in a positive way.
Well,
right? I want to thank everyone.
We always wanted to be positive, Armando, and whatever situation arose right here, we never wanted to derive popularity off of fighting one of our own people. That's not good medicine. Bring a college-educated white boy who says that we're not original from this land, and I'll debate him forever right here on this podcast.
I'm just so proud of this podcast, man, to unite the people like this at the end of the day.
Well, we have to be united because we were the ones least accepted, as someone said. We were the least accepted natives. We were natives. We got in the door, but we had to do what we're told, say what what'd you say? You have to re-say it again. Just like Product was explaining, there are different levels. You had to go through this, Imagine the people that went into the 60s. Now, I've heard stories from Chicanos that went to Sundance and were turned away. They were turned away simply because they were Chicano. They were simply, no, you cannot. And then the elder comes in, right? The elder who's running the Sundance and says, hey, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys fighting? These guys are just as native as you. Stop fighting and get into the Sundance. You guys are all one people. Until we recognize that, then nothing's going to change.
Son cholos, hay cholos.
Now, I'm not telling you to forget who you are, what community you come from. And if you have the pleasure and ability to understand and have a grandma that could teach you your road and teach you where you came from, then you're our teacher and you're going to come to us, because we have to
share your message.
We have to remain one thing. The power that me and Jenny have as a couple is that she's sovereign. She has her own voice. She's not my wife. She's not my property. She is sovereign. And her sovereignty keeps her with me because she wants to be here with me. And I want you guys to be sovereign. I don't want you to just because you agree slightly with someone, you have to just attack until your voice gets heard. Be sovereign. Analyze. Go to the podcast, right, Armando? Go to the podcast. Listen to it. Go to our responses. Listen to it.
There's a lot of hip hop podcasts out there,
But there's none that represent for
natives.
Indigenous.
Ni uno te da la oportunidad como ustedes llegaron aquí a abrir la puerta a la gente indígena como yo, Yo soy indígena aquí, You know, it's like
I also want to make sure that people understand, and people in the communities that are asking for a lot of, they're asking us to do these things. This isn't going to happen overnight. This is not an overnight thing. There was a lot of things that were invested into this company, and I just cannot just unplug it just because I'm hurting somebody's feelings. What about my bill? What about my light bill?
And let's
What about
clarify about a company. This is a company.
This is a company.
It's an entertainment company.
It's an entertainment company
that runs a dope podcast.
Yes.
And throws dope events.
And talks about issues that obviously resonate with people, that people have opinion with, that are in solidarity with people. That has never changed. So I'm just trying to clarify all the mud.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all the mud that's been thrown around.
This was a conversation I had with Product about elevating the indigenous hip hop community to where we could now compete with the standard.
Yeah, that's a dream.
Am I right, Product?
Man, it's crazy how they're let me press that. It's crazy how like we're at this level, bro. Like a real Tongvan community is actually like hollering at a podcast over like some big issue. Like, whoa, dude, we're here. We made it. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
I feel
That's
the same way.
I kind of feel like, the intentions behind this podcast was, again, to just generate a voice for the hip hop indigenous community.
The unheard.
But because we are very spiritual people, we didn't realize that our medicines were going to be literally waking up people's inner fire, and in a sense, like you're saying, brother, like you woke, this literally woke up the fire within you, and that's where we're at. Zero,
and the community.
Look
at them. Look at them. They're just chatting away, and they all have hundreds and hundreds of messages of support, hundreds of messages of disagreement. At least you guys are talking. At least you guys are talking, right? Yes, because before that, you guys were talking about shit, and kids were in cages. Let's talk about that now. Now everybody that's talking about this, stop talking shit about this and start talking shit about kids in cages.
Let's put the same energy. Yes. Imagine politicians.
Native Mexica, we don't need to explain or debate to anyone who we are. As long as you know who we are and where you come from, that's all that matters. I love you, my natives.
Oh,
brother.
I agree.
I worked so hard to put together this event for June 25th.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Catch One for donating their space for indigenous hip hop. And this is why, guys, Zero and Product is so vital to continue to push this movement.
Absolutely.
Is because my role and my goal is to be able to get the indigenous hip hop community to compete with the mainstream.
Thank you. I mean, because that means you see.
And what's
real
wrong
talent.
for me to do that?
No,
Like,
there's
I
nothing wrong
don't.
with
Thank you.
And we don't really have to do that, right, Zero? Like, you made a good point. Like, we don't really have to do this.
No, but I have to take responsibility for who I am, and this medicine isn't just for show. I have to answer to females, indigenous individuals that have something to say, and I have to be responsible for that. If someone got hurt, I have to address it, and I'm going to address it in a good way, and I'm going to address it in a way that is positive, and that'll bring the family together, because good warriors calm down the tribe. We have to be in one force to defeat what's in front of us. And you know what? It doesn't even need to be defeated, because when you're sovereign, you make your own decision. Continue to make your own decision. And if your decision is in disagreement with LA natives, then I respect you. If your decision is to support us and show us love and say, hey, I don't want to change the name, then I respect you too. I have to hear your voice too. This is why I'm coming on the podcast today before I go have that meeting, is to say thank you to all the supporters. Hundreds and hundreds of supporters.
Muchas gracias.
I want to say thank you to the haters. Thank you to the haters, because before the haters were around, I wasn't in the same meme as Mortal Technique, was I? No. So now I am. So thank you very much. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Make another meme. I'll put my thing right there, and you can come on LA Natives, and you can. I don't want to debate my own people though, but if I have to debate you guys to get to the white boy, then I will, because eventually one of you guys is going to get hurt enough and bring one of those white boys to come back you up. So if I have to take you guys out, let's do it. I'm ready. I don't want to be aggressive, but I love you, and I'm gonna do it with love and respect.
And again, it's not all white people, right, Zero?
No, it's not. It's people who disrespect women, people who disrespect the land, people who disrespect the water, people who pollute the air, people who think they're better than someone just because of the color of their skin or their ideology that comes from Europe. and monarchs and elites. Was I clear about my definition?
This was clear since day one.
That was
Absolutely.
beautiful. Zero. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Since day one. For all of our new listeners, all of our new viewers, check out our podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing us the support. I didn't want to be
Thank you
a
for
wave
showing
of
us-
support to smash whoever was opposing us, because that's not what we do here. What we're going to do is get a wave of support and bring that person in and show her and have her have a seat and say, hey, man, we're all together here. We love you. We love the Shumash and we love the Tongvas.
And
I
God-
don't love missions. I don't love pedophile priests. I don't love land thieves. I don't love people who write treaties in good faith and then break them. I don't love that. And don't make me bow down to that, because I ain't.
I'm warning everyone right now, get your tickets. It's going to be sold out. June 25th, we got Product Pistolas
Vivo.
killing it. We got Olmeca. We got Nug Life. We got Zero of El Vuh. We got Polka One. We got Sub One. We got Keys IMMC. Plus more. It's a $5 event, guys.
Yeah.
$5 event.
Come feel the vibe, man. We're creating a scene. We're creating a community. And then we'll do the community outreach. And then we'll bring the local tribes in.
There's no hip hop community that will put that lineup together, bro. Straight up. And for that, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And in the hip hop community, we appreciate for giving us that voice with our people, bro,
That lights up my heart. That's what we keep on doing this for.
Yeah. We have to, and everybody's at their different level. And that's the beauty of it, is that you get to see. When I used to work with autistic kids, I used to get these very difficult people who used to bite, hit, scratch, run into the street. And then I did some really good heart work with them. I let them bite me. I stopped them from running across the street. 2 years later, they were holding my hand walking across the street. Right? So it's about being patient. We're going to hit it from all sides. This is just the beginning. What? This isn't nothing, really. And I don't want to minimize the pain that I caused to someone, because I didn't, and I apologize that. I apologize publicly. I'll apologize for forever and ever that I didn't mean to do that. But we have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to my 4 boys. I have a responsibility to Jenny. I have a responsibility to my future grandchildren, who will one day look at this podcast and see if I stood up or I just backed down.
And believe me, we do have these conversations for the past couple of days with our families, with our own children. We have a big family. We have 4 boys, and they're compañeras in our house with us too. And these children are not small. These are 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds. So this is exactly why we continue to do it, to, again, give a voice to the youth that have a message behind what they're doing. And our sons are future hip hop artists. So even more fuel of why I continue to support this kind of podcast.
Well, thank you guys for coming. Thank the chat. Obviously, you voiced your opinion. We're going to stop the podcast because we do want to take the meeting serious, and we do, again, publicly want to apologize for misleading anybody that this LA represents the Tongva or Chumash Nation, because it doesn't. This is a general reference to whatever you want to put to it. We've clearly defined it, and we will do a disclaimer every show that we have in the beginning that we are not affiliated with the Tongva and Chumash, and do we not represent the Los Angeles County natives. Again, I said it again. One more time, I must say it, that we are on Chumash territory. We are on Tongva land.
And we respect and honor that.
And we respect your relationship with it. Okay? We respect your relationship with it. But don't disrespect our relationship with it. Right? Because we respect you just as much as we respect that great Tonantzin that we step on every day. And to the young warriors like Product and Armando who are coming into a new environment, a new cause, thank you for holding back for me, because you guys respect my voice and you know that I represent you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, 100%.
And thank you for losing control too. Thank you for saying things. Thank you for saying things that were maybe off the cuff and didn't agree, because it made another person, and now you guys are talking. Now that you guys are talking, switch the conversation, because everybody's on the same side.
Shout out to Richie from Indigenous 1492. Make sure you guys come out. He will be selling his merchandise there, and I'm telling you guys, it will sell out.
Yeah.
We got a lot of dope ass vendors. Who
A
else do
lot
you
of
have?
vendors. We got Cali Paints in the building.
We got herbal,
We got
Aslan remedies.
Aslan remedies.
Get
We
your
got
health in
Cultura
place.
clothing.
Yeah.
Man, how do you like the new title, Custer's Last Stand?
I love it because it refers to many indigenous nations putting aside all differences and coming together as one to defeat one common ground, one common enemy. In that time, it was an enemy. Right now, we're family. We got to organize. We got to put aside the petties, right? And all you older warriors that have been in the game for 20 years, please calm your warriors down, man. Love the messenger. Thank you so much for your message.
We appreciate
because
you.
it was honest, it was heartfelt, and it was telling the warriors, calm down.
He's actually on the live chat right now.
Calm down. Calm down for a second. Calm down. We're all dysfunctional. No one knows every single step to take and every road to make, but we are a concert company. We are not ceremony. We are a podcast that speaks on indigenous rights and rebukes any colonial, European, monarch, land thief, traitor, liar. We don't represent that. Unfollow if you represent that. Okay? We'll see you next Wednesday. We'll see you Sunday, right?
Sunday.
We'll see you Sunday. We're going to resolve this in a good way.
Yes, and we'll keep everybody up to date. We are going to go meet up with them right after this podcast, and we'll keep everybody up to date.
Know that we
appreciate
have
everybody's support too.
We know that we have your heart in our heart, and that we're going to resolve this with love, patience, and respect. Okay? Love, patience, and respect with our own. So remember that.
Yes.
And one more thing. Indigenous hip hop will save the world.
Absolutely. June 25th. Catch one.